So what this is I have gone to my various friends of Net, Silver, Tanny, and myself have all attempted to draw a 5x9 grid in paint. And my hunch is that we do this in such different ways that you could probably guess whose was what. So I've currently got all of them in one video, not labeled to who they are, but I remember. And so we're gonna watch them, and then I'll pause between them, and we'll see what the guess is.
Cat, why is this 13 minutes?
That tells you how long some people took to draw things.
What? Alright.
And then also I realized we should do this as polls between each one.
We
like
should.
A quick poll for what people think it was.
We should.
So luckily the other
But then
the
they
poll
could
ended.
get twice for multiple.
Yeah.
Not of, maybe, I don't know.
So we're gonna watch the first one, then we'll put out the poll.
Okay.
This is the first one.
Maybe we should do one between each round.
We could do one between each round. That might be a good one.
I
Though,
remember whose this was.
I don't know if we want to reveal right away because that's
No,
why I was thinking of doing
we'll
them
save
all
it
at
to
once.
the end.
Yeah, so let's do all of them at once. Poll
Yeah.
between each, and then reveal answers at the end.
Yes.
Because this is someone attempting to draw a 5x9 grid who has so far only drew horizontal lines.
Also, this doesn't look a lot like MS Paint. This looks like something
Wait.
else.
The instructions were MS Paint. I don't actually know if this is MS Paint.
This is not MS Paint. Someone's a cheater.
So, someone did not fully follow instructions. Which
Someone's a
you'll
cheater.
notice might be a pattern.
Oh no.
Oh, shoot. Okay, that's my
3,
indication of pausing.
2.
Yeah. Alright, so let me do the poll now of who was that?
Let me
And then that
load
was
in
either
the
Net,
stream.
Tanny, Silver, or me. No additional votes on this one. Shortest time
It'd be
limit.
fun to see what your
Go
community
put in your
values.
guesses of who that was. on the Twitch one.
Am I
I'll
allowed
just
to
keep
do
track
this?
of
I already
which
know
ones.
the answer.
You can because it's funny.
Okay.
I'm so far seeing one vote for Net, 2 votes for Tanny. Oh, 3 votes for
3
Tanny.
votes for Tanny, 1 vote for Net.
So a lot of people think this is Tanny.
A lot of people
that
think it's
Tanny
Tanny.
couldn't follow directions and use MS Paint.
Wait, why are you... No, guys, you have to click on the poll to vote. Don't just
Yeah.
type in chat.
Yeah, you gotta use the poll. Poll's almost closed. So far, still just the 1 to Net and 3 to Tanny.
Oh, 2 to Net.
All
right.
Yeah, so that was...
Tanny is the
everyone
winner?
thinks first one was Tanny
Uh-huh.
as the consensus, but it is a near half and half between Tanny and Net, which is funny.
Alright, on to the next.
Yep, on to the next one.
We are siblings, so you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true.
That's true.
This one we have a gray backdrop on it.
Oh my god. Oh my god. What is this?
And for reference, most people for this one were given the blueprints grid, like the Manner's floor plan as the reference for a 5x9 grid. So that little bubble at the top was clearly a reference to that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And they were literally counting as they went. One,
Oh wait, that was...
two, one.
Yep. They're definitely counting.
Not
This
even
one
using
I-
a line tool. It's
No,
that's-
using
it's just the
boxes.
box.
Oh,
Alright.
gotta pause it for this one. Okay. There we go. And
Who was
this is your
that,
poll.
everybody?
Yes. Who was this? Who was that? Same one. I wish I could just restart the poll. So Net, Tanny.
You're asking a lot here.
just keep a note on who voted what where.
silver, and cat. The options, there we go. Okay, so we've already got a vote for silver on that one.
2 votes for me.
three votes for silver.
I'm not gonna vote on this one. I'm just gonna watch chat go.
I need to keep a notepad going now of like what were the answers that
All right,
chat
so
thought.
I'll write it down.
You'll write it down? Okay.
Yeah.
So first one was the
First
assumed
one
to be
was
Tanny.
Tanny.
Yeah, this one is apparently turning out to be you because we've got 3 for you, 1 for me.
I don't know who
Did I
voted for
say
you.
he? Did I say he?
I think you did.
I wasn't listening. I'm writing things down.
Good
I
old
mean,
Freudian
I would like to
slip.
remind people, I am a shapeshifter who goes by any pronouns, so good luck. Alright, so Chad thinks silver on that one.
Fair.
And then let me line up the next poll before we start the next one.
With
The
80%.
greedy pigeon sent 5 to say. Beep.
Everyone's gonna start voting before
Nice
you
beep.
play it. to be
Well, I'm
fair.
not going to start the poll until after it's already finished playing. So net, Tanny, silver, and cat. Alright, let's start this next one.
If this doesn't scream, we should all play Gartic Phone again. I don't know what does.
I do want to play Gartic Phone again sometime. This one seems blurry.
This one's very blurry.
Oh, there's the same bobble at the
There's
top.
the 46th room.
Yep. Starting with the line tool.
I feel like I just turned 90 trying to watch this thing.
There's a lot
This
of
one
pausing.
I have seen this one. It gets worse.
Oh.
It gets worse.
Yeah, whoever it was undid it. Oh,
They switched the boxes. And I don't know why they've decided to put the box from the corner. Oh, and doing
Don't-
it again.
I'm sure there's a good reason. It seems to be a method.
It is certainly a method. I do like
One
how it's
of the
not even
methods.
aligned with the top box. I don't understand this
hard.
method.
oh, the corners segment.
It's just
Okay.
they haven't gone all the way down on that one either.
And now it's bugging you.
Where are they gonna line this one up? They can't even decide. Just what are these boxes? They don't even go all the way over on this one.
Oh, now they're going from the other direction.
Going from the bottom now. Cat, you good?
Yeah. I just really like this one.
This is so good.
They just got like, oh.
Oh, and there's the counting. Now, how are they gonna fill in that last random space of not boxes?
Not boxes.
with
there's a
love.
lot.
Line jewel all the way across.
Oh, now they're thinking really hard.
Yep. Are they second guessing their choice and they're Control C? Nope, they're gonna paint
Nope,
over
they're
the other line.
And they gotta get it really
Oh.
straight.
Yep.
My jaw hurts from laughing. It's not
Is
over
that
yet.
it?
There's still the
No,
bottom.
all right, yeah, there's still the bottom.
So I got the 1 and the 2 and the 3.
And despite all that madness, it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, it is. It is remarkably even, despite the varying thickness of lines.
All right, chat. Who was that one? Who we thinking?
Hang on, it's still not done yet. Why is it not
Is it
done
not?
yet?
Why is it not done?
I don't know. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
So pause that. So yeah, who was that one?
All right. Again, I'm not gonna vote. I just want to see what chat thinks. All right, we got to vote for Net.
Yep.
Cat's next journal entry is gonna be, I got dizzy today through laughing because my friends were drawing grids all day.
Yeah, probably.
is-
I am a little bit dizzy.
All right, 2 votes for Net, 1 vote for Silver.
Yep. I feel like I should be glad that no one thinks it's me.
I'll vote for you.
Well, they know
I mean,
you're
you
up,
know who it
though,
is.
Cat.
Oh wait, no,
They don't-
there's no vote for me.
Oh, now we got to vote for Tanny. Net a vote for Cat.
Still 2 votes for Net though.
Well, I was gonna
Wow.
vote for you to be funny, but that would sway the entire election.
It would.
Listen,
This
okay,
one
that's
is
what I was
remarkably
saying about
split.
Silver, okay?
Just it is 1 vote is apparently the winner for
All right,
it being
this
Net.
this one is Net with 40%.
And then
I don't know
what
if I
is-
should be insulted or impressed that they guessed me twice.
They didn't.
I have no idea.
Oh, 2 people voted for you.
Yeah.
And 4th.
All right.
All right.
And then, so
Back
I've got the
in.
poll set up. And as a reminder, just in case we clip this later and need a refresher on what this is, everyone who had submitted video to this had been given the instructions to draw a 5x9 grid. And now we're going to try and guess whose grid this is.
Cat, there's 1 clip left, and there's 7 minutes and 40 seconds. What are you about to show me?
Just an art piece, probably.
What is
So,
happening?
there's the tablet. Oh. Yeah. Okay,
And
who
there's-
has green? Who has a green pointer?
Who has a green
I
cursor?
have no idea. I don't like how Pigeon says they're scared.
Who do we know that's green?
And you can tell they're overthinking this. They have not even started to draw.
Nah.
Yeah. So who do we know that overthink?
That is not. What? What is that?
Huh?
What is that?
Oh, are
Is that
they
a rock?
calibrating? That green cursor is probably a window above MS Paint.
Maybe. I have no
Maybe,
idea.
I don't know.
Because it reminds me of when you do your art streams, Cat, when there's like a
Mm.
little box on screen.
Oh, now they've got... Oh, they've got a circle now.
A circle. How is this a grid?
This is. This. What?
Huh?
And now they're changing the color of the circle, apparently. Oh, no, they've settled on black.
Now I can
I-
see why it took 7 minutes to.
What is happening? What is this? It's a little creature looking at me.
Yep.
Oh, it
it's
is a little
apparently adding
creature.
pupils.
There is no grid.
It's looking 2 different directions.
It's the emotes that we keep using in your shorts. It's the dumb emote.
It is the dummy vote.
What, they're picking something else?
Yep.
Oh.
They're still not done.
Hey, at least this one is in MS Paint.
It is an MS Paint. They've made it gray. I think it's a rock.
It's
It's a rock with googly eyes.
it's a rock with goo. It's a pet rock.
And
Why
given how
text?
long this one is, I could like start clicking through to get like a little bit further and see what their end product is if we feel like it's running too long.
Did we skip it, chat, or did we just let it run?
Yeah, this is up to chat. Because
They're taking
this
so
is
long
certainly
to
one of
type.
us.
This is
Let it
definitely
run.
one of us. Let it run. Let it. All
All
right.
right, more laughter. Fair enough. I don't even know
No,
what's
this
being
is
added right
Decide
now.
Where they want the text box.
Todd the Rock.
Rock.
So I was right that it's a rock.
It is indeed a rock.
What are they adding now? What could be added to this masterpiece?
What could be added to Todd?
What kind of surprises me is that this person clearly at least knows how to use MS Paint.
You say that like it's a hard thing to. Oh,
Oh,
hi, Todd.
I say that as someone who uses freaking Krita and stuff normally, so I don't.
Yeah.
I completely forgot that Paint had a text function.
this person clearly didn't get the memo on what the job was.
Yeah, no.
Why is Todd a little confused?
I don't know. He looked angry for a second, then they added
He
the other
did.
eyebrow.
Now he's just a little
Dizzy
confused.
rock.
Oh, and
Dizzy
now
rock.
it's thin. Thin,
Dizzy
one thin
rock.
eyebrow.
One thin eyebrow.
Oh no, back to
Dizzy.
neck.
Yeah.
What are they
Chat's
gonna add
gonna vote-
next?
Oh,
Chat's gonna vote me on this one.
I mean, we've all seen you're starting soon.
It is my staple.
God, there's still 3
Yeah.
minutes left.
They've definitely forgotten about the grid.
The grid was never a factor. We have yet to see a square.
I mean, they had the like vertical canvas, so I think they set out in the right mind.
Did they though?
They did until they zoomed in.
The instructions
See,
were
look.
make a grid in MS Paint. Yeah,
Yeah.
look, it's...
Whoa,
Whoa.
whoa.
What are they doing now? Why have they zoomed out?
Are they drawing a grid over the rock?
I don't know.
Is Todd gonna be the backdrop? Perhaps.
Todd could be the backdrop. That could be it. That's a lot of time to get out a line tool. I don't know if it is.
Hey, you leave this
I don't
artist
think
alone.
they know what they're doing.
We've got a lot of mouse wiggles.
Lots of mouse wiggles.
They
Pigeon thinks they
switched
remember
to
they're supposed to
Discord,
draw a
like,
grid.
They probably like switched to Discord. Like, what the hell am I doing again?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
maybe checking the instructions. Oh wait, where'd Todd go?
What? Where'd Todd go?
they deleted Todd.
Todd!
Oh wait, they've got blue.
Blue.
Background, huh? Oh.
Are they going blue background for their grid?
What?
Big. Okay, that's not.
Uh,
There's no way that's aligned to their grid.
that's
Maybe
a
it
line
is.
to their grid. That's a line to the grid, Cat.
No.
Oh, wait,
okay. No, they've just filled in half the canvas.
All right, so we're looking at a beautiful beach. Ah, and
Oh
Todd
yeah, I
is on
forgot MS Paint
vacation.
has layers now.
Yeah, this is someone who knows MS Paint well enough to know that it has layers.
I'm not saying a word.
One of Todd's eyes are brown now.
Todd has cat eyes.
Oh, maybe they're second guessing the backdrop.
No, Todd is no longer on vacation. Oh no!
Chat's
What-
gonna vote Cat for this one.
I'm not
because-
voting on these. I'm letting
I'm
chat
not
vote.
voting. I voted on the first one and I haven't done it since.
All right, so Todd has white eyes now. They kept the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it? Is that
Well,
all they're
there's
adding?
50 seconds left.
There's still a
so
minute
there's
left.
Still a minute of content. Still no grid.
There is still no grid.
No, no grid.
Whoever it is definitely has some perfectionism issues.
Yeah. Perhaps.
Oh, what is this?
Oh.
Oh,
Circle?
No
is
grid.
that Todd's shadow?
I think it might be the shadow. They even got it at an angle.
Dang. Todd is not
getting
sitting on a
fancy.
perfectly flat surface. Oh.
They've got a
And there
fully
we
rendered
have it,
image
Todd.
of Todd the Rock.
Oh,
Rock.
And then
Oh,
back to
Yep.
So, chat, who did
so-
Todd the Rock?
Yeah, let me. I'm trying to put it back to where we can see Todd. Nope. Come
Who
on.
were the options again? It was
Net, Tanny, Silver, or me. And I'm playing this back to where we can see Todd the Rock. See the final product of what was supposed to be a 5x9 grid.
Absolute cinema. No,
So
there's
we've
not.
got-
There's not a grid, Pigeon.
Yeah, there's in fact not a grid. They were instructed to draw a grid. This is what they submitted.
They drew a rock.
Yeah.
They drew Todd.
We've got 2 votes for Silver, 1 vote for Tanny.
Yeah. I can't
I've-
even be mad that people think this is me.
Yeah.
'Cause this is totally something I would do.
You might have done it. We don't know yet.
I might have.
We've not revealed the
I'll
answers.
never say.
Well, you will say. At the
I
end
will
of
say,
this.
but not right now. Yeah.
No, I have a question. Silver, you've been keeping track of what the answers have been. Has anyone,
Yes.
like, have any of them been voted as me? I don't
No.
remember.
You have not gotten majority on any of them. I've gotten majority on 2 now,
Yep.
with the highest percentages possible.
All right, so we'll go start to end again. So let me click through and get to the final product. So
All right.
for this one was the first one.
This one had the chat voted Tanny with 60%.
So 60% Tanny on this one. It
Yep.
was in fact not Tanny.
Nope.
Does the person who, since we're all here, does the person who drew this want to speak up? Or should I just
It was
reveal?
me.
It
I
was Matt.
cheated.
Not cheated. He
Yeah,
didn't
that's
even
a
draw
4
5 by
by
9. It's not even 4 by 9, it's 4 by 8, isn't it?
4 by 8.
Okay, to
5,
be
6,
quite
7,
honest, I
8.
forgot it was
No, it
paint
is.
and just immediately instinctively launched my go-to paint clone.
That is fair.
So
That is
cheating.
fair. All right. So
All right,
people
next
thought
up.
this was Tanny. It was Net.
Yep.
And then next up we have this one.
We have this one.
This one was the one that drew with boxes the entire time.
Including
well-
for the straight lines.
Yep. What does chat think this one was?
Chat thought this was Silver with 80%.
Which is impressive. Because
Yeah.
it was me.
It was Cat.
Yeah,
I was so confident on this one, and then they ended up so wonky with the spaces between them. That's why I kept counting, because I was like, wait, did I miscount? Do I have enough? I'll just squeeze in the last one there.
Yep.
And then we've
we
got
have this monstrosity.
the absolute insane one. I will say, this is the one that started all. This is the first person that drew a 5 by 9 grid, and then I
Yeah.
went, I have to see other people do this.
All right, chat
The
thought this
person
was
who did
Net. This chat thought this was Net with 40%. This was me.
Yep.
yeah.
This was Silver.
This
Silver
This
did
was
this
mine.
on their stream. This was on
Yes.
stream when they were
This
playing
was live.
Blueprints. So that is one of the reasons why they switched to using boxes, because I told them to use boxes. They just used them in a way I never thought they would.
Cat, when have I
use
ever been
boxes.
orthodox?
That's fair. That's fair.
Silver was literally like, I'm one over here, I'm one over here,
Yep.
I'm one over
It worked.
here.
This
Well,
is
what even was
arguably
your
the
thought
cleanest
process
one.
when you got to here? Was my question.
Yeah, that was a big
Uh,
pause.
My thought process here was switch to lines and just find what doesn't look square.
Fair, but
And-
what about
and-
for? I forgot we were at the right one. This one. What was going on with this one?
I got totally lost. I forgot what went where.
I can tell.
You were there. In
Yeah.
the VOD, it actually has me going, wait, here, no, here,
Yep.
no, here.
It is so silly.
Your two
Cat-
brain
Cat
cells
on my
really
stream
struggled
was
to rub
losing
together.
her mind.
I
over
was.
that.
I was. That's why this got started like this.
Yeah, I know.
And then we have Todd the Rock.
Then we have Todd the Rock.
So
Chat thought I did Todd the Rock also.
Yep.
At 75%.
this was in fact Tanny.
This was Tanny. I know how to open this.
And he just opened it and says, "I'm do rock."
Yeah, so Tanny doesn't know how to read very well apparently. They were
No.
told to. They thought they were told to make a 9 by 5 image. So that's why the dimensions of the canvas are like this.
It's still funny.
And
That's
So
so
out of-
catty, though.
I'm impressed that you did that without knowing, like, if you've never touched MS Paint.
Yeah.
Because that is impressive for first time with MS Paint.
So out of 4 guesses, chat got 0 correct.
That is
Y'all didn't
absolutely
vote
wild.
for Cat majority on any of them. I think Cat had 1 vote throughout all of them.
Yep.
No, they were like, "God, this is too low
No,
standards for my favorite streamer."
I will
It
say I think I
absolutely is.
accidentally did a bluff on them because I think I accidentally referred to myself as he during one of them and confused a lot of people.